Alright, quite a few things going on my laptop right now, but what we're going to do is set up our custom cursor adapter for our list view. We have our list view identified as global variable. We have it initialized right here. And if you remember, it sits at the bottom right here. So how are we going to fill this up with data? We have made our own list view item. This is how we're going to have our stuff appear in the list view. Now, I know this looks like a whole layout, but what's going to happen is it's going to shrink it to just this line, each one. And if you remember, we have identified these text view IDs, list view text view 1, list view text view 2, and that's going to be important for what we are about to do. So right click on your package in your Java folder, new Java class. I'm going to call it my custom cursor adapter, and we are going to extend cursor adapter. When we do this, Alt-Enter, implement the methods, and then it's also going to ask for a constructor. So click on the red line, create constructor, and you will want this bottom one right here, context, cursor, and flags. Hit OK. There's our constructor. I like to take the flags and manually throw them in. That way all I do is feed a context and a cursor to the constructor. So instead of us feeding a flag every time, I just take that parameter out and call it in the super. That way it always gets called because you can't avoid it. But that way you don't have to pass it every time you reinitialize the cursor. Or reconstruct the cursor rather. Okay, the new view. It's used to inflate the new view and return it, which is our list view item right here. So we're not going to return null. We're going to return our layout inflator from context. It's passed. Dot inflate our dot layout dot list view item. What are the nullable view group root? So our view group is our view group, and the third parameter is attached to root, and we are going to say false. So what we're going to do is inflate this list view, this custom one we just built, and return it for each item in the list view. Bind view is where you bind data, aka initialize views and attach data. For example, in our list view items, we're going to identify both of these. So let's do that right quick. Bind view. We are going to say text view TV name equals text view, and then we're going to take this view right here to find it. And that's how you bind data to each list view item. So if you think about it, this is very simple. We just have two text views. But shoot, you can have a relative layout, you can have a couple different text views, you can have an image view, you can have checkboxes, you can have all that. And whenever you construct this cursor, you can pass in whatever you want to. You don't just have to pass in the context and a cursor. If you want to have your app in edit mode, you can have a Boolean value that you construct it with. And whenever you call it in your main activity, you can pass that Boolean value as true for edit mode. And in this code, you can have right here, you can set up some if statements. If in edit mode, make the checkbox visible, stuff like that. Like, the possibilities are limitless with the adapters. So you can really get creative, but right now we're only going to do two text views. So I'm gonna also find the name or age, TV age, and that was text view 2. Okay. All right, let me open up SQLite Studio again. Yep, that's exactly what I wanted actually. So remember, this is a cursor. Right here, this is what we're going to call a cursor. Column 0 in the cursor, column 1 in the cursor, column 2. It always appears like that. First column is 0. That's the index. This is the first record of the cursor. So basically, you're going to grab a cursor object from the database, and you're going to call cursor move to first, so it'll move to the first line in it, and you'll grab data cursor.get string from the column 0, cursor.get string from column 1, cursor.get string from column 2. So, and then you'll call cursor.move to next. So we'll see this right here. I just want you to see that this is what a cursor looks like, and we'll come back to it again too, because that's what you're going to feed it. In the constructor, you're feeding it a cursor, right? So with that cursor, let's go ahead and construct it right here. We call our add entry method on that button click for the add button, so it adds the entry into the database, and then it resets the text views. But we're also going to say, let's update list view. Oh, list view 90. What the crap? Oh, yeah. Double. Okay. We're going to make a method and in the update list view, what we're going to do is, because the data has changed in the database that we want to display, we're going to reconstruct the cursor. So there's two ways you can access data from the database. You can call the method execute SQL, or you can insert stuff into the database, but you can also do what's called a raw query. So we're going to say, in fact, let's declare a global variable real quick. Cursor. But cursors you do not initialize like cursor equals new cursor. You give a cursor by querying the database. So in order to get this, we did this, right? So let's just copy that. Equals db.rawQuery. That's how you query the database. We'll put that. So select all from tutorial table. Is that the name of our table on this example? I'm going to copy and paste it just in case. I think it is though. Sure is. Paste it. So select all from that, and it's just going to ask you for your second parameter. You can just pass null. It'll be okay. So now, whenever we do cursor equals database.rawQuery, select all from tutorial table, it's going to feed us this cursor right here. This was added as an example, I think, last video or something. Don't worry about that, but this is what we're going to get. We're going to get 3 columns and a couple rows. I think we only added 2 so far. Okay. So now that we have the cursor, we can construct our cursor adapter. So my custom cursor adapter equals new my custom cursor adapter, and with our constructor, remember we took away the flags and it's called the super over there, but we're only going to pass main activity this and the cursor we just created, which is this right here. So we're going to feed this cursor to the adapter. And basically, this method is called after every button click, right? It's right here. So we add data into the database. We call update list view. List view re-queries the database for all the data in it again, stores it in the cursor, and we construct our cursor adapter with that new cursor. And that's what's happening right here. And then we're just going to call listview.setAdapter, my custom cursor adapter. Oh crap, the variable name of it, sorry. Yeah, right there. So let's run this and see what happens after we set up the text view binding in the cursor adapter. So what we've done is we've constructed the cursor and passed it to it. So now that we have the cursor here, we are going to bind it to these text views. Now we've selected all. This is select all from tutorial table. So if we want to get the name, remember this is column 0, column 1, column 2. So whenever we get anything out of the name column, we're going to go column 1 and age is column 2. Okay. So we're going to say string name equals, wait a minute, sorry. String name equals cursor, that is that right there, cursor dot get string 1, because we want to get out of column 1 for the name. You'll see it. String age equals cursor dot get string 2. And now that we have those as variables, tv name dot set text, we're going to set it to name. tv age dot set text to age. Now the cool thing about this is whenever the cursor fills out the data for the list view, it goes through each record by itself. Whenever we make this show 30 method, whenever we fill this out here in a little bit, we'll show you how to loop through the cursor to get all the data out of it that you need. But just know that this cursor adapter takes the cursor and it reads one row at a time by itself. And it says, okay, I got a cursor and I'm going to get on the first row the string that's in column 1, and I'm going to assign it to the string name. I'm going to get the string that's in column 2, and I'm going to assign it to the string age. And with those two strings, I'm going to bind the data to these text views, and then I'm going to move to the next. So, and that way you're going to have a bunch of these right here, and it's going to loop through. So let's just run it and see. Okay. Oh, the reason it's not showing up right now is because update list view is only called after this button click. So let me just we're going to add this in the onCreate also, just so it'll pop up after each time, you know, every time we start the app. And while we're here, tired of the phone rotating, I am going to set this to portrait so this joker won't keep rotating on me. Okay, but we can see that next one, but I can go ahead and show you what this does. So we're going to say Josh2 is 99 years old, and we're going to add it. And there's the data, because the update list view wasn't called until after that button click. It's in the onCreate now though, so it'll pop up every time we start the app. But you can see, that's how you do it. That's how you bind data to each of those, and this is all coming from the database. Get that cursor by doing a raw query straight to the database. This is why I say that it's very helpful to learn simple syntax for SQL queries before trying to do it in Android. And I mean, for Android purposes, depending on what your app goals are, it's very simple just to learn some basic, they're called CRUDs, create, read, update, and delete. But we're only going to be doing inserting and retrieving in this video. But you can easily Google, or if you want me to, I can do some tutorials on how to update and delete records and all that type of stuff. But yeah, that's it. Next video, we will construct the show 30, and that will be it.